Hello, welcome to Supernova Labs. I've just finished recording a video, so you'll be seeing that next. But I just wanted to say thank you to Nate from Ashcan Comics, because he's really kindly been making a small comic for Castleborne. We've just seen some of the new pages today, and they are absolutely bang on. I don't know how he does it. The characters are so expressive, and it's like I'm seeing this as one of the people creating Castleborne and having no idea where he's going to take this. And every time I see one of his updates, I am just giddy. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the video. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Supernova Labs. Got some cool shades over the new year. Hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. So I was having a conversation on Twitter with a friend of mine, Nate, who does a lot of work as an artist. He's a comic book artist, probably one of the best in the Bitcoin SV space, about a generative project that I've been thinking about for a while, and I said I'd make a little video about it just to give you an idea about what it was and what I was thinking about back when I first came up with it. So, for many that might not know, I before BSV even existed, I was working on something called the Open Spaceplane Project, and what we were trying to do, and what we are still trying to do, is get a fully reusable single stage to orbit spaceplane design that's fully open source. Now, it's wild, it's big, I've heard it all, but one of the main ways we were looking at doing this was following a company called Local Motors, running a competition-based setup for how to get initial designs and then break it down and then get to component level eventually. And the way that they did it is they had a prize pool for initial designs where the IP remains the creator's property, but the design is open sourced, so there's a way of claiming royalties if people want to pay you for that design, but then also that design is available for free as well. Now, then you go down to subsystems, then to component level, and that's the whole shebang. Now, one way that I was looking at this in 2016, I think, when we were first looking at this, was, well, one, doing a competition-based framework for building up open source spaceplane designs, but then how also do you link cryptocurrency to it? Because I was doing a lot of work in the Ethereum space at that time, doing PR work for SingularityNet and a bunch of other large raises at the time. I think we raised about 40 million over that period, and one of the biggest problems I had with that, it was a lot of false promises, and I think there were quite a few of those projects that we ended up supporting where people just cut and run, and I didn't want to contribute to that, just that mentality, that way of doing business. That just isn't the way that I want to do things. So I've been kind of quietly waiting for something like Bitcoin SV to come around, where it is actually delivering on those promises, where you can have NFTs, you can create smart contracts that aren't costing an arm and a leg to run on chain, and that can handle the scaling that they promised they have been promising they can do. And it's made me think recently about generative spaceships. I don't know, there's a lot of generative projects going on, especially the Twitch guys have this new wallet extension, and I think Rare Candy is seeing quite a lot of success on that basis, as well as everything going on with RelayX, and with ourselves and Moneybutton and Castleborne. It's made me see now that actually maybe the industry is ready for something that, for these kind of projects that can be used to fundraise for community development, for development of hardware, for longer, like I guess more sophisticated development. And I think there's still a couple of pieces that are missing. I think the pipeline for people that have fiat currency to get into BSV is still nowhere near saturated, and there's not many easy ways to do that still. I probably need to do an update video on the one I did for the starter sword, particularly because there's a couple of mistakes in there. Like I didn't realise that you couldn't actually get the BSV that you buy through Robinhood out of Robinhood as a correction. But also, part of where, like, a lot of the work when I've been going into designing this kind of spaceship or open space plane, it's drawing in a lot of industries like manufacturing, like automotive, like aerospace, 3D printing, whole host of different industries, and none of them are crypto native, so it becomes very difficult to put a project out there and say, like, okay, well look, we're doing some generative art, this is going to fundraise for the development of maybe an initial design for this space plane, or several initial designs for this space plane, because that's not really, they don't understand that world. Like, I mean, it's very hard traditional finance. Like, it's typically a lot of the aerospace industry is like government funded, military funded, like very closed books, closed door. It's never really been it's getting better now. Like, I think since we've started, it's become a lot more open. They are a lot more like willing to have discussions with startups in the industry, with students at the International Space University and around the space universities here in the UK as well. But there's still it's very risk averse, very conservative industry. So any step that I take with the Open Spaceplane Project, particularly surrounding cryptocurrency, needs to be buttoned up tight and can prove the system works for an industry that is like very conservative. Which is why I've been a bit like more hands off, like doing more experiments over the past year and just seeing like what is possible with all of this. Now that being said, like, we've seen a bit of success with Castleborne and with selling the starter sword. I think we've sold like over, I think I totted it the other day, last year, between myself and people that I've worked with, we've sold over 150 NFTs, which is mental. Like, it's nice to be finally selling things and people buying them. And this is where I think people may have seen I've separated out the Supernova Labs Twitter account again from myself and my personal Twitter, because I'm seeing enough to rebuild from. And it's still like a very, what do you call it, it's very early doors still. But I mean, I don't know, like, if you can see what I've been writing out, all the stuff that we've been working on and what we are working on currently. So just trying to get a map of where I'm at and where Supernova Labs and the Open Spaceplane Project is at the minute. But you maybe will be seeing some things from us in the future, like very soon. I need to work out how I'd play something like this NFT project. I've seen a bunch of NFT projects coming online now where people do rewards programs, where people that buy the first NFTs then get a slice of the revenue going forwards. I need to set up a company as well. We're going to be limited by guarantee, so going to be going as a non-profit. With non-profit meaning that we'll be reinvesting all profits back into the business, not that we won't be making any profit. It's a key difference. And then going back and reassessing all the research that we did with the Open Spaceplane Project, where we're at right now, what can we integrate into any generative art project so that we're teaching people about aerospace and space planes in the process of this whole thing. Because one of the major reasons the Open Spaceplane Project exists is strictly because of that conservative environment inside of aerospace. It's actually one of the key weaknesses in the industry that the people within the industry have identified as like one of the key weaknesses, is that because there's quite a lot of centralization around a few companies, it allows startups to be more disruptive coming up from the bottom. And I see a world in the future where, given a stack of NFTs come out as a generative design, I'm just rambling, hold up a second, let me gather my thoughts. I see NFTs as a means of funding development going forwards, and if I can integrate the different parts of like different designs that I've had in the past into a series, one, it'll give me an indication of what people want to see develop further, and also if we can work it out and put like a roadmap out where the money that comes off these NFT projects actually goes into developing and research, that would be ideal. Because we've spoken to the UK Space Agency and they've quite kindly put me in touch with somebody who can take a body of research forwards to universities and to students to start picking this apart and working, like doing the initial literature reviews and doing the initial research and material science research to work out, well, how do we make this possible? I think something we've seen over the last year with civilians going up to space as part of the Inspiration 4 mission with SpaceX, the doors are now opening to space in a meaningful way. And while the route ahead isn't entirely clear in terms of like how to integrate cryptocurrency and use it as a fundraising model to get to a point in the future where there's one of these spacecraft in everybody's garage, I can see a route beginning to form. I know that's not much of an update. I know that maybe people wanted something more concrete from me starting out the new year, but I think if there's something I've learned over the past year of just experimenting and just allowing the flow to take you for a bit, I can see enough here that gives me confidence that we're going to have a very good year this year. With that, I wish you a happy new year. Please subscribe if you're interested, you want to follow this kind of content. And with that, have a good evening.